starting to get easy, man, but I can't let up. I'm stepping on their necks till they get their respect up. We pressing on the gas, no way they can catch up. The ones that talk down know that they messed up. I caught the GS outright, you can't direct us. The negative vibes you bring will never stress us. Shit coming natural, but it's more work to do. You hating as if what I'm doing is hurting you. Sometimes it takes the worst to bring the best out. They slept at first, they ask and they invest now. Nah, home, I'm rocking with.
Hey everyone, this is Anthony with Interviews with Everyday People. Guest today, really excited for. I only got to talk to him before when it was like a collaboration and I was a whole bunch of people there and it was in and out, but we had a really good conversation, so I'm really happy to finally do this one-on-one over the phone because of all the what's going on right now with the coronavirus, the COVID-19 or the Bud Light, whatever beer joke you want to make there. But he was also the our intro song for a minute. We used "Living My Life," which I know we disagree when it comes to sports teams, but that song is like a Rocky theme song to me. I know there was a lot of Eagles reference, and I'm a Redskins guy, so I let a little bit of it slide. But it's a good tune. It's very uplifting, positive. You put that on while you're at the gym, and you'll get an extra mile or two out of yourself. It's a good song, and it came from a very good album too. So I do remember the day we met. I kind of knew you were coming, so I was like, all right, on the drive to Harrisburg, I put your album on the drive up, and I got to listen to the entire thing. And man, it was a good album, man. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Anth, man. That's love.
Yeah. Now, I know it's a weird thing for me. Rappers and hip hop guys and professional wrestlers are in the same boat to me. You know, it's I don't know if to call you what to call you. Do I go by the I always go by the shoot name or the real name, or how do we do this here?
That's up to you. I mean, I am both of those names. So
some people get
Vito.
Some people get weird when you call them the real name. Like, no, man, just go with the stage name. So yeah. How did you come up with Vito Depierro? First off.
Well, Vito Depierro came from my mom, who Florenza, the album, is named after, and her last name was Depierro. So I wanted to carry on the legacy. So that's how I got Depierro. And when I first became a property manager, back in the day, I didn't want to tell all these people that were coming to see the properties my real name until I knew that we were going to be renting to them. Because, you get all type of weirdos that are coming in and out of the places. Until you're going to do real business with somebody, I didn't think it was necessary to give them my real name. So Vito was who I was. And when social networks hit after that, I had my name in place. It was a full, alias was already in place.
I like that. Now, obviously, with that Vito Depierro, very, very Italian. What are we looking? Are you full Italian?
No, I think we touched on this before we met. I think we got something in common there because we're both Italian and Irish.
Yeah, that's a bombshell right there.
It's a hell of a combo.
Yeah, we're great drinkers.
Yeah, good partiers. A little bit fiery attitudes. There's different takes. You can ask different people about what they'll say about the people they know that are Italian and Irish. I'd be interested in hearing.
Yeah, it's impossible for us to sugarcoat stuff. We don't. Sometimes, I know for me anyway, my honesty gets me in a lot of trouble. They're like, yo, tell me the truth, and I'm are you sure? Are you really sure?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you.
Now, how long have you been, in the music scene?
Well, I've been in the scene for a lot longer than I've been rapping. I started managing artists probably about maybe roughly 10 or 11 years ago. And then, that ended up taking me to Los Angeles to live for a few years. And then about almost going on 4 years ago from today, I moved back and started making my own music at that point. So I guess I've been in maybe 12 to 15 years.
Wow.
As far as involved with music in some way, yeah.
that does it does say a lot to your craft too, because you are very, I want to say, polished. Your style is definitely something you could definitely say you've been around the block a little bit. And that's not a knock to other people that come up when it comes to music, but you can definitely tell a lot of those growing pains are kind of not out fully, but I mean they're not there right there because I guess you've been involved in the scene a little bit, so you kind of learned a little bit of the trade before you went in and start doing it yourself.
Definitely was blessed to get that experience before I even knew I was gonna get the urge to want to create my own art one day. You know, I was fully a manager and just taking in all aspects of the business from the manager standpoint, and I learned so much. So it helped me tremendously when I came into the game as an artist, for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things I do like a lot about that album is there's a story to it. I do like. I'm very critical when it comes to hip hop and rap right now, because I mean honestly I can get by when people are, I guess you could say, joke rapping. I do like when there's some fun to your music and there is some fun to music, but I also do like when there's some substance to it too, when you actually got something to talk about, and when for me anyway, when it can become relatable. And I think a lot of your songs can be relatable on different spectrums, because I think one of the hurdles that and this is just me speaking, this is not coming from you, if you could relate or you agree, yes or no, but one of the challenges I can definitely see you overcoming is being an Italian Irish white rapper, you know, and a lot of people in the area probably say some shit behind the back and, oh, this guy here, and I know we talked a little bit about it, you know, to each other, how people are like, oh, he's, I never even heard of the term before until I was told that night, like, culture vulture. It's so stupid, so dumb.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like people sit back and look at somebody and they're like, "Oh, well, you don't know struggle because you haven't been in this situation or that situation." Everyone struggles. You can be rich, you can have money, you could be wealthy, right. You can come from a good background and still have a struggle. And I feel like your struggles go through in a different aspect. You're not out there rapping about the same thing other people are rapping about, and your struggles are different. And I think you're very upfront with that, and I think it comes through in your music.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you noticing that. It's definitely giving me a chip on my shoulder, you know, the whole like white rapper thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's tough. I want to address it a lot of times more in my music, but then, you know, I'm directed by the people close to me like, nah, chill out, you might not want to say that. And I get it, you know, it can be touchy, but for the people that know me and know, like, you know, my history, my background, you know, I'm part of the culture. So It's never really been in question. And that's why when I hear those things, it hits me, it touches a certain part of me. But at the same time, everybody that I respect, that knows me, respects me for who I am, that means the most.
Yeah, I know some of the you touch a lot on your family and your brother a lot in the album and stuff like that. And I mean, I have a little brother that me and him are 11 years apart, and when you could hear your pain and your struggles go through with a lot of that in your music. And I've never personally related, but I couldn't even imagine, because like my little brother, like I raised my little brothers, like he's not even like a brother to me. It's like a kid. You know what I mean? I never had a seed of my own, and trust me, I don't want to, because of my little brother being 11 years younger than me. I think I've already experienced it. But that raw emotion that you speak of when it comes to a lot of your struggles going through the music, it's I don't want to say it's good, but it makes for good music, man. There's something to it. It's not your typical cookie cutter music where a lot of people in hip hop and rap are like, I have to hit A, B, C, and D to be a hip hop or rap song. And I feel like you take your own little path, and it works. And I think people who appreciate music will like it, but I think some people who are just looking for a certain thing in hip hop, it may not be for, which I think is kind of pointless to me.
Yeah, man, I don't feel like I've ever adapted to try to like make a hit.
Yeah,
I've just created from what I'm feeling, what that beat makes me feel, and that therapy alone is worth it to me.
Mm-hmm. Another,
So it's like,
I'm sorry.
if people can relate to it, that's that's what I'm going for, you know?
Yeah, I like I said, I enjoy enjoy everything you got going on, because it's not just the music aspect, but when you do make your music videos and you do, you know, I follow you on social media. I think your social media game is on point, because I think you let people in and see a lot of cool things about you, and I think your overall circle of people you have around you is very cool, man. You know, when you make your videos, you bring in the people close to you, you bring in your family, your girl, your friends, and it just seems like as an outsider looking in, it's like, man, like you want a circle like that. You know what I mean? It seems like it's all love, it's all positive, it's all just people motivating each other to do better things, and I think what you got going on is a real good thing, and I think the sky's the limit in anything you want to do, just because of the circle you have yourself around it.
Man, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I could do is try to have good people around me, and try to spread a positive message and keep positive energy around, you know?
Yeah. Now, that last album came out about, let's see, I've been doing the podcast now for about 2 years, so it's coming up on probably like the 2-year mark, this last album, right?
Actually, it was released February 22nd of 2019. So, so I guess we're about like maybe a year and some change.
Yeah.
Maybe a year, 4 or 5 months. I you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Approaching a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah. So what have you been doing now since that album? Are you already on the grindstone for the next one, or what's the plans?
Yeah, I've been working. I probably got about 35 songs done that are new, unreleased. I'm gonna probably pick maybe 12 or 13 for the next album. And you know, I'm always creating, so I might be even making a couple new songs that might make the next album. But I also have a project with an artist named Ridicule that it's going to be a 7 or 8 song project, collaborative project, and we've been pretty much putting that together through this quarantine.
Nice.
So we're hoping to drop that, you know, in the next couple of weeks to a month. And yeah, I'm really proud of that work right there. I'm looking forward to sharing that one and the next album with the people that have been following.
Now that's another thing I wanted to ask you about. One of the things with my little brother, I guess we have two different styles of cultures of music and music taste. One of the things he always talks about when we talk about a new album, he goes, well, this album I think was the best one. And then I was like, well, listen, here's what I thought was, in my take, this album is really good. And we have polar opposites when it comes to different people we're into. But one of the things, I guess, like this newer generation, they talk about, and it's kind of like they look at it as like it's not a badge of not a badge of honor, but like it kind of ruins the music, is if you have too many features on your album. I don't understand that at all. Like, I like when other people work together, because like some of my favorite songs are collaborations, because when you work together with somebody, it makes you get to a different level. It makes you improve yourself. It makes you get better, especially if the person you're working with is an animal.
Yeah, then that's what I try to do when I work with guys like Ridicule, guys like Fetro. These cats can really spit. Yeah. So in the you know, effort of becoming better at my craft, I only want to rap with the spitters. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't mind getting on a track with somebody who I know can flat out just out rap me on the track. I actually want that. Mm-hmm.
Now there's a song.
I mean, I'm not gonna get better without doing that. So that's kind of why I embrace those opportunities with some of the best rappers locally that I can find, that we can vibe with and have a good energy. You know what I mean? If the energy's right, then boom, we make a collab, and that's how it comes together for me. But I hear what you're saying about they've been dissing people like on these battles online with people keep calling me. I'm trying to deny these calls. I don't know if that was interrupted, but on the battles online, they've been dissing like the artists that are like, oh, well, that doesn't get us a win because he's playing a track that's a collab. And I've been seeing all of that as well with the collabs. But for me personally, if it's an album that's a solo album, I'll probably have maybe 3 or 4 collabs on it. I think that's a good amount of features for an album.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be my first collab project where we're collabing. We're both of us, Ridicule and I are both going back and forth on the whole entire project, and I think it makes for a dope contrast for the listener.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not 100% sure who Ridicule is, so I do apologize to him and stuff. But there is
no problem.
Yeah, there is a song.
Have you heard the song "Ready Set Go"?
That I was just gonna say, was that him on "Ready Set Go"? Because that guy in that
him.
verse was fantastic.
Bro, that's Ridicule, bro.
Yeah. That video.
He's on
that video is funny too.
Video. Thanks, man. We spent some time putting that together. Shout out to the Beastie Boys Sabotage video. That was a lot of the inspiration for that video. And another video that you could look up to give you a little taste of what me and Ridicule do is called Fell Off. Vito, Depierro featuring Ridicule. And it's a lot of bar work on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where's Ridicule out of? Is he a Harrisburg guy, or where's he from?
Yeah, Ridicule. I met Ridicule when I was running open mic nights at HMAC a couple of years ago, and he got up and just was flaming it. And that was when I had just, decided I was going to write my own bars and make my own songs.
Yeah.
So I was always a sponge to, how I could get better. So when I would see people like that, I'd be like, yo, I'll be drawn to it. So we ended up over time just linking. I started inviting him to do sets on my shows in Lancaster, and I had him on stage at Club XL when I opened up for DJ Envy with me. Just try to share the love with people that are dope.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, that Harrisburg...
And that's how we ended up doing songs together.
That Harrisburg scene is insane. There's so much talent there. The only thing I would say, and like I said, this is not a diss or a beef or anything like that, but there's so many people out there that are just focused on the wrong things and focused on just, I would say, petty stuff. Instead of just working together or just getting it up, trying to get yourself over, it just they focus on just nonsense. Like they're arguing over a venue, and I'm like, you're lucky you even have those venues. Like where I'm from here, there's no place for artists or musicians to do music, and Harrisburg has 4 or 5 amazing locations where. And not to kind of to bash on hip hop, but like imagine being in a band. Like you literally roll up with an MP3 player or a track, and you hand it to a DJ and they play it, and then all you need is a microphone. Where what I mean? Imagine when you have to show up with a drum set and 4 guys and a guitar, bass, amps, headers. And, what I mean? Like, and there's nowhere for people like that to perform, but you guys have it in your area, and they have their own sound system. Like some venues in our area don't even have sound. You have to bring all your own sound and your own lights and your own everything, and just I don't think they realize how good they have it in that city with different venues like HMAC and the Capitol and all those different places.
That kind of gets back to that culture vulture question you asked me earlier, because. Before I moved back from Cali, it wasn't hip hop popping like that in the city, and it was rarely hip hop shows. It was a few here and there you might hear of somewhere, but I was the first one. I started having hip hop shows at HMAC, and then I started having hip hop open mic nights at HMAC, and then Craig took it over and started doing his mashups and started killing it with that. Yeah, and that kind of energized the city. And different venues started opening their doors to hip hop after that. So, like when they say that culture vulture shit, it's like, yo, come on, bro. Mm-hmm. Like,
just because you were the first one to step up, put your neck out, and get the culture started. How is he vulturing off the culture that wasn't even there?
That's why it's like it's hard to trip off that when they say that. Yeah. But it's like if you don't know, then you don't know. If you weren't a part of the scene, if you weren't embedded into the culture like I was, then maybe you just don't know.
Yeah, and you always have those people too who are talented or maybe have something going on, but sometimes the people who have the most talent but they sit back and think that someone should just come to them and they should just be found, and they don't have to put that work in. And I think a lot of those people who mostly are the ones who talk are the ones who live that type of life. But no, you can be extremely talented, but you still got to go out and sell yourself. You still got to go out and put that work in, and you still got to go out and do what it takes to get it done. And sometimes people sit back and see another person go do it, and they're like, "Well, that's bullshit. He sucks. Why is he doing it when it should be me?" Well, get up off your couch and go do it then.
Yeah, and most of what's gotten me to, like you said, it seems like it's a little more like established of a thing, has been that aspect. It hasn't been the talent level.
Yeah, your work ethic is huge.
So the other side, the rapping, that's why I continuously try to get better. How do I get better? You know, who do I work with that's going to step my shit up?
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. How much I got to work harder because I feel I have room to keep getting better.
Yeah. Now, when you make like who like when do you do your own beats? Do you do anything else, or like when it comes to like the music end of it, or do you?
Oh no, I gotta shout out my boy AJ Burgos. He goes by A Titta. He produces a lot of my beats, and my engineer Shane Garland over at Hunger Before Greed Productions. He originally was just my engineer and made everything sound good and clean and professional. And recently, I think with the start was Ready Set Go. He made the beat for Ready Set Go. That was the first song, and then after that, he's behind this whole Ridicule and Vito project that we're going to be releasing soon. Shane produced everything on that project, and those two guys are. Oh, I got to shout Dennis Agony Jenkins as well. He's made a couple beats for me as well, and he's dope. He's like Grammy nominated type of dope.
Yeah.
Just a local guy from Harrisburg that he produced for Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande on a couple of projects, and I just was blessed to know him from high school. So he ended up showing me some love, and he made the Living My Life beat.
Oh yeah,
Agony made the Living My Life beat. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, that song was crazy.
Yeah.
I used to love when people come down with my new board. Like, you've seen my old setup, the garbage one, and then you kind of seen. I don't know if you've seen the new one yet, but I got a whole new setup, new microphones, new everything. But the board, I have these little touch pads, and I can program like the intro, outro music. So what I used to do is I'm like, hey, put your like. It's gonna be a little loud, but I used to play like when I go somewhere and I have my intro music, I'd have it queued up, and then I would add it straight to the recording and not do it in post. And people are like, yeah, why don't you just do that in post? I'm like, because I want you to hear the intro music, because it would spark so many conversations where somebody would sit down, hear it, and we'd start and be like, yo, that music was good. Who is it? And then would right off the bat, it'd be like, oh, well, that's go check out our intro music by this person. So it was really fun, but a lot of people really, really enjoyed it. Especially Eagle fans, they ate it up. I'm telling you.
well, you weren't off with that liking that song, because that's my number one stream song all time right there. So
yeah,
you know, I'm always chasing that one when I'm making a track. Like, how can I get something that pops more than that? But at the same time, like I told you earlier, I just kind of go with what the beat tells me. So that beat was just, you know, sounded like a radio track. So I felt like, you know, it just created what it did.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it hits all the right points. I think it's positive, it's real, great beat, and like I said, it's motivating. It could be used in a Rocky movie. I'm being serious. Like it could be a new version of like Creed. You know what I mean? Like just where it just like kind of like that new school music.
I appreciate that, bro.
It gets you fired up. Yeah, but now what have you been doing with yourself since this whole virus thing came out? I see you're making challenges where people send some beats to you, and you're trying to do some freestyles over the beats. Yeah, I've been doing that just to try to keep sharpening up the tools. I'm very disappointed you didn't know what Paul Revere was by the Beastie Boys, by the way.
Man, I'm disappointed as well. I am as well. You know, growing up, I remember, you know, Sabotage, of course, you know, License to Ill, just overall, you know, I was dabbling in and out of that. But the Paul Revere, when you commented that, I was like, oh my God. And I actually have like a few bars started to that.
Nice.
I was going through the beats that people were commenting for me to rap to, and a couple of them were catching me, and I was able to just flow through and write something fairly quickly. That Paul Revere, I got to sit down with that thing.
Yeah, that's a great song. It's my favorite. That's probably my favorite. And that beat has been sampled and used in so. I think Missy Elliott used it one time, in her one video. It was like she didn't use it for the full beat. It was like a breakdown part where she the beat switched.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah,
I kind of remember that shit is mean. It's just the sound is right up my alleyway of the type of stuff I like to write to.
And it's a cool story too. It's like a Wild West story. It's like such a weird song, but I love it.
Well, you know what I have to do, and man, forgive me for this, but I didn't even hear the song yet. I only heard the instrumental.
You should go back and listen to the song. So pretty much it's all three Beastie Boys, and it starts off as the one Beastie Boy is on the run from the law. It's a Wild West style, Red Dead Redemption style like song. So the one Beastie Boy is on the run from the law, and he's in the middle of the desert, and he's dehydrated, and all he wants is a beer. And he comes across another Beastie Boy who has a beer, and they get into a duel, like they're like guns pointed at each other's face. And the one guy is trying to say, I want to go do something, like I need to get this done, and if you help me do this, I'll give you beer. So then they go to this saloon to rob it, and while they're at the saloon, the other Boy member's there, and he's already sticking the place up, so they all stick it up together. It's a really, really good song. You have to definitely go check it out.
I gotta check that. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
And then the other beat I gave you was Renegade, Eminem and Jay-Z, which is one of my favorite beats of all time. I started right
to that too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I gotta come with some crazy bars to pay that some proper respects.
Yeah.
But that's in my notes. Like I could scroll to the notes, and that's in the notes, and the Paul Revere beat notes as well.
Yeah.
But with the beats like the ones that I didn't know off top, I wanted to listen to the beats without listening to how the person attacked it, because I just kind of wanted to come off how I came off on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of the reason behind it. But I'm gonna go check that Beastie ones out and see what they did.
I love the Beastie Boys. Who are some of your music influences growing up, or even now?
Definitely Jay-Z. Biggie. Biggie was like the first rap song I knew all the lyrics to. It was I love it when you call me Big Papa. That song. That was the first song. I had the tape. I had the single. You remember the single cassette tapes?
Yep. My first
like
Biggie song.
$3.99.
My first two Biggie songs I learned the words to that I was obsessed with was "Give Me the Loot" and "Suicidal Thoughts."
Ooh.
They're my two favorite.
Okay. But definitely Eminem, Fab, Jadakiss, Joe Budden, the whole Locks. Who else? Mac Miller. Shout out to Mac.
You know what's awesome about the early 2000s rap, like the Eminem, Jay-Z, Fabulous, even you can put Ja Rule. I know a lot of those rappers kind of get clowned on now in today's times. Like, oh man, you go back and listen to that. And I'm like, well, listen, here's the difference at least between that generation of rap and today's rap. If you put on a song by one of those artists, you can tell right off the bat they all have their own style. No one at that point in time was trying to be somebody else. Like that section of rap, everyone had their own thing. And when someone came in on a track, it was the one thing. Like I can listen to a track now, or I can listen to a rapper now, and they all just blend together because they're all trying to be the same person. It seems like to me in today's rap. I
agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. You can't tell exactly who it is. And back then, you knew if it was Jay-Z coming on. You knew if it was, Jadakiss. You knew Fab. Like it wasn't like, who could this be? Which little is this? Or which colored hair rapper is this? Or,
yep.
You know what I mean? Now, I ain't knocking it. That's what the kids love. It's just, it's just not up my alley.
They push their look more than they push their craft.
Yeah, they push just whatever's going to drive the popularity more than the content that the art possesses.
I just couldn't believe, like, Eminem's new album, and so many people, like the newer generation, was like, that shit was whack. And I went and listened. And I was like, what are you on? Are you crazy?
No, he was killing shit on that. He was killing shit that whole album.
I was like, I give up with this generation.
The one before it, there was one that I did think was kind of weak, with maybe 2 or 3 albums ago.
Relapse.
Which one I'm talking about? Yes, one of those before Kamikaze.
Yeah,
it was before Kamikaze. I was like, man, I was disappointed in M for like the first time.
Yeah.
But then the next 2 that he dropped was just like, okay, this is the M I like to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But they hate on them. That's another thing with the race stuff. Like, you got to be honest. That stuff that you see where they hate on M,
mm-hmm.
if you know what I mean, if someone of a different race had those same accolades, they would be hands down the king, like no questions.
Well, even if you can go to the next step and even say like it come in rap culture too. I think it's rap and comedy are the two cultures where people have your back, but as soon as you hit a certain level of fame, no matter how good or popular you are, it becomes not cool to be a fan of yours anymore, and it's a weird culture thing with hip hop.
I said that on a recent rhyme that I wrote. I said they love you when you down, but hate you when you're up.
Yeah, like people say Jay-Z's garbage. I'm like, how? Like every rapper raps about money and owning and getting everything. Jay-Z won. He owns he's a part owner of the Yankees. He owns a basketball team. Like the dude is worth more than any.
That's what's wrong with it. That's what's wrong with like that's the bigger picture of like society and what's messed up with it, because it's like the more hood shit you glorify, the more dumb shit you glorify that looks cool to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
They keep putting that person on the pedestal. And it's, overall, it's just not healthy for people to see that. And it's what continues to happen. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know why that mentality is in place, that once people reach success, then it becomes time to hate on them and act like that's not the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that.
Yeah, I'm a Jay-Z fan just because I like his growth and I like he went from a drug dealer to a mogul. You know what I mean? Like, what more did you want him to stay a drug dealer so his street cred stays cool? I don't get that at all.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They wanted him to stay a drug dealer and get shot and get killed or get locked up. And that's what they wanted apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have much rather, to this day, I'd still much rather have Tupac and Biggie alive than dead. You know what I mean? That Biggie put what 3 albums out, 3 that he actually recorded, and then obviously like just people take his tracks and put his verses on stuff. Imagine that dude was still around today. He'd be a treasure.
But I think that's what slows. I think like back to like my music. I think that's what slows my growth, my ability to grow faster, because I don't really talk that gangster shit. Like, I've been through some real shit in my life, and the people that know me, when I'm touching on it in the music, I'll say something that's like very subtle, but they'll get it.
Yeah.
And that's really as far as I'll go with it. I don't talk much gangster shit like that. But people love that.
You probably don't have to, and you don't have to, because why? Everybody else is doing it. You don't need to jump on that train.
I know, but I mean, I feel as though because of the authenticity that the music possesses, it has slowed my ability to grow faster. But I'm willing to make that trade-off because I can stand on my work.
Yeah, and I think it comes, even I have this struggle too, where if I did a podcast and I did podcasts like everybody else, where we talked about just I talk about some wild ass shit sometimes, but where I'm just looking for clickbaits and I'm looking for like pulling the one thing we talked about and clipping it and put it on the internet and just getting a rapper on and having him beef about another rapper and having him spill his guts and making fun of somebody, or starting like,
they would love that.
Exactly.
If I shouted out rappers' names and started dissing them right now,
I would have this.
And you posted it, it would get the most hits. It would be viral in Harrisburg.
But I'm not trying to do that. I don't need that negativity, and I don't want that. That's not what I'm trying to build a platform around.
No, but I'm just telling you. I'm just letting you know that I understand where you're coming from 100%. With basically the clickbait tactic that people use. I'd rather have an authentic convo, and it doesn't have to have. People can enjoy it that enjoy authenticity.
Yeah. And I think people who stick around and they become your loyalists are going to be more people that you can vibe with, and they're going to be more reliable. Because here's the thing with rap too, and I always try to tell people, yeah, sure, it is one of the most top selling and most top played and top listened to genres out right now, which is kind of even crazy to think about. But the problem is the people who you're probably trying to sell it most to, and the people who are you're rapping to appease, are not the ones buying your albums. If you want to rap your gangster shit and you want to rap your I tote guns and shoot at people and do drugs and do this, the people who are you're rapping that to are not coming out of pocket to your shows. They're not coming out of pocket to buy your albums. They're not coming out of pocket to buy your merchandise. So who at the end of the day, who are you really putting your music out to? Now, you'll go out and you'll make your money because the people who are supporting your music and putting the money out will get you where you need to go. But when you try to go back to your neighborhood that you're trying to appease those people, all they're going to do is be like, oh, look at you, got money now. And then they're going to be the first ones to stick you up, rob you, and probably you're going to be then you'll be the next guy dead, and your albums will sell even more now. You know what I mean? It's just like a weird double-edged sword in that music culture, you know?
I'd rather years down the road look back and, you know, be able to be proud of the things I was saying
and stay true to yourself. Yeah,
you know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to take that angle.
Yeah.
Even though it's enticing at times to, you know, touch on certain things that, you know, I could touch on and it wouldn't really be in question and stuff like that. I just, you know, my other thing that is a big part of my life is Blessed and Appreciative, which is the nonprofit organization I run that gives back to the community. And I always keep that in the back of my mind as I'm making my music. Mm-hmm. I want the positivity to shine through more than anything else.
Yeah. Now, where does nonprofit, like, what are some local charities or some charities you've helped out so far?
Oh, we've gone to the Bethesda Mission 9 years in a row on Christmas morning, mm-hmm. and gave all the men there, whether it was hoodies, sweatshirts. Every year we brought winter hats and winter gloves to all the men staying there. Some years it was 70 men, some years it was 120 men, and this was on Christmas morning, 9 a.m. The past 9 years in a row. We've worked with the Shalom House, which is like a women and children's shelter. We've provided Christmases for the Delta Community Shelter. We've did a bowling event that raised $8,000 to get a wheelchair lift for a girl that suffered from MS. Mm-hmm. And in order to make her life and her family's life easier, they needed some type of piece of equipment that lifted her wheelchair into the van. Mm-hmm. And we were able to help them get a van with that wheelchair lift attached to it. We've done a number of different causes. We work with Hero in the Fight, which is ran by a friend of mine named Danny Albert, which assists people that are recovering from opioid addiction.
Yeah.
And we help they have a house that they work with called the Raise House. And we have an account that we keep money in at the Raise House where different miscellaneous needs that the people in recovery that are staying in the Raise House need, we'll pay for, whether it be bed sheets or toiletries or, you know, they need a cavity fixed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're an organization that helps with an array of different needs or different, I guess you could say, impactful causes.
Yeah, and they're all fantastic causes, man. I know I did a local music event out here, and it didn't go to charity or nonprofit or anything like that. But then the next one, they're like, "Yo, you did really well on that. You should throw another one." And I was like, "Sure." The next one I'm doing is for Toys for Tots. Like I said, if I ever do anything to help promote, or because I get the promoter side of things, but I will never be a successful promoter because I don't look to make money at all. I get weird asking or trying to raise money for myself. Like it's just something I'm not very good at doing.
No, I hate doing that. Yeah. I hate doing that.
I'm terrible at it. Like,
I was never good at that. Even with the fundraisers and trying to sell like hoagies for baseball as a kid, I just hated doing it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's why coming up in the game and rapping, I never did any like ticket sale type of gigs because I hated doing it.
Yeah.
I just hate it. I want to give credit at this time for any rapper that hears this, that does those and has the ability to go out and get their ticket sales and stuff like that up front, because that's not one of my strong suits. But I like being able to just put a product out there, and the people that love it, that take to it, they take to it, and we run from there. I don't want to have to like force feed nothing.
Yeah, I have a merch page, and I get uncomfortable pushing it. Like, hey, you want to buy a T-shirt? Like, oh, I just get
well, that's a different story.
I get
that's
weird.
A different story.
I suck at it.
You got to promote that shit. You got to promote that shit, because the more times people see it, the more likely you're going to get a click and a purchase on that. So that's a different talk. Like, that's like a marketing talk we're getting into with that. But
I suck at it.
You have to push that.
I'm terrible.
You have to push that. You can't be ashamed to do that, bro. Just if you feel like you're bothering people, then keep it up.
Yeah. Now, here's a quick question for you. Have you ever heard of the app or program called Bandcamp?
Yeah, I heard of it. I heard more of it back in the day than as of recent, but I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
You should definitely look on getting your music on there. So what Bandcamp, and this is something that I think every musician, this is something I just recently discovered from a lot of different bands and stuff. So what Bandcamp is, it's like Spotify, but it's all people who are upcoming or not quite signed yet, are just looking for, a way to put their music out there. So obviously it is good to have your stuff on Spotify, but if you look at Spotify and I click your song and I play it, you're getting almost next to nothing for your play. Where Bandcamp, I don't know what it takes to go on there, if there's a fee, so maybe I'm promoting this in the wrong way. I'm just telling you what I've heard of it. But if you go on there, there's every genre of music on Bandcamp. So you go I go to my buddy's page on Bandcamp, and his band's on there. I can listen to all his music for free. There's no paywall, there's no pay restriction. But I can pay per song if I want to buy one song. Or I can go and buy his album. Now you can set your album price to be $10, $5, or you can set it to be like whatever.
I wonder if I'm on there.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm on there or not already?
I think you have to go through and do it separately. It doesn't like if you do one of those distribution things, it might not pop up that way.
Okay, because I have my distribution deal through United Masters, and it's supposedly it's supposed to be every single available platform, but I'll have to follow up on this Bandcamp to see.
Yeah, so like I know my buddy's thing, he's on there, but if you go on there and click his thing, his pretty much says, my album is pay what you think it is. So, and I think it's one of those things where if someone turns around and says, yo, he's literally giving me his album for $1 if I put $1 in, and then you go back and listen to it, you're like, you know what? I like it. It just seems more accessible for people, like genuine people, to give you what you think you like. You know what I mean? Not what you're worth, but like you can set your price.
They're giving.
That's what that would be the only thing you would have to look up. That but I know a lot of musicians have been doing that now to because they can't really go out and you can link merch pages to it. You can do a lot of cool different things with it. I was like, I'm kind of jealous because I wish podcasts had a platform like that. I was like, good for you guys.
Yeah. I'm sure there is though. I'm sure there is something out there.
I haven't found one yet. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out that Bandcamp thing.
You've been out there staying on it since I met you. You've been consistent with the podcast thing, bro. I gotta commend you for that.
I'm trying.
I've seen a lot come and go. I've seen a lot of people with the podcast idea that it just really didn't last. It just didn't last. So you've been staying on the grind with your different channels, and I salute that, because the hardest times are when you feel like people don't care, people ain't listening. How do you keep going?
That's where I'm at right at this point. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, because my episodes get plays. I get a lot of good plays. I get a lot of good listens. Like the number count is probably right where I should be for my type of content and stuff. It does hurt when I have a guest on and they don't really promote it. That kind of sucks, where you sit down and you have a great conversation with somebody and then they turn around and they just on their end. They just don't
Oh
do
yeah, I'm gonna promote this.
I definitely know you. I
This was
definitely
a
know
good
you will.
convo.
Yeah, but you're actually episode number. So I do 5 different podcasts because I'm a psychopath. But for the one you're on now, interviews with everyday people, you're actually you're going to be episode number 76. So I'm closing in 100 episodes.
That's dope.
Yeah,
76ers, baby.
Yep. Oh yeah, 76ers. I didn't even think of that. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna snag that picture of you rocking the 76ers jersey or 76ers shirt and use that as the episode title.
That's the 1980 championship warm up jersey.
Yeah.
Right there that you're talking about. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then I do the Not Cool in High School, where we talk about like video games, comic books, movies, television, stuff like pop culture nerdy stuff. Then I do one about all pro wrestling because I'm a huge pro wrestling nerd. And then I do one that's like beers. So, like we review craft beers and we go to different breweries in the area.
Yeah, I saw that, the Banging Beers. I think I follow that one. I'm pretty sure I follow that one on Instagram. Is that on Instagram?
That's everywhere. Yeah, we actually I just made Instagram pages for every single one of the podcasts. So I'm trying to like, before it was all under like the network, and now I'm trying to branch it out like on Twitter and Instagram for everyone to have their own pages. It's see how that goes out. But yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
are you drinking one right now?
I'm not. No, unfortunately, I'm not.
I'm on my second Dos Equis right now.
Okay.
I'm on my second Dos Equis.
I'll tell you what.
I was shopping earlier with my girl, and when we got back and got everything put away and got sat down, it was nice to crack a brew.
Yeah. There's a lot of good breweries up in that Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg area. You guys got a lot of good breweries. Yeah.
There's some distilleries out here are serving the delivery, the pull up curbside service, pull up, get your vodka bottles and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. I haven't had to do it yet, but a couple friends have took advantage of it. Let me ask you about that, Ant. Can I ask you
absolutely.
a question or two?
Sure.
Let me ask you about what's the vibe like you're in Frackville, right?
Yeah.
What's the vibe like in Frackville with the quarantine and the lockdown situation and everything?
We're in a weird spot. I know a lot of people are angry because we have a lot of mom and pop businesses that are not open. So there's a lot of it's becoming, I guess it's like more worldwide, but it is in our area too. It's very politically divided. We have a lot of people who are like, we need to get reopened right away, and then there's some people like, no, we should probably stay safe and stay closed. So we have that divide going on right now. And then they just announced that the county we're in, Schuylkill County, is actually lumped in, considered southeast Pennsylvania. So I guess what Governor Wolf's plan is he's going to open up each county by a section. And unfortunately, because where Schuylkill County is located, where we are, we're actually lumped in with Philadelphia, Harrisburg. So we're a very small coal region community that's now being lumped in with Philadelphia, Harrisburg areas. So, and Philadelphia has one of the largest counts, so we're not going to open until the city of Philadelphia opens, and a lot of local businesses in our area are like freaking out because you have like Luzerne and Carbon County, which are probably going to open on the 9th, and there are a lot of small town businesses can open next week, and we're stuck in a we're a very small town community who relies a lot on small business, and they're not they're not letting us open because they grouped us in with a major metropolis city, and a lot of people are really upset about it.
So what's your thoughts on the fact that we're seeing small mom and pop shops, small businesses not able to operate when they're providing the same services or products as some of these bigger, stores?
Yeah, I think it's
what's your
gross.
personal thoughts on why that's going on?
Money. Money talks. You look at these businesses that can stay open, like factories who are selling jeans and T-shirts are allowed to stay open, but it just, I don't know, it's just gross to me. I'm a very, very big supporter and person of small business. A huge reason why we do the craft beer scene and banging beers is I rather much drive to a brewery in Harrisburg and buy a beer than go buy a Miller Lite because at least the craft brewery is actually putting craft in their work into their work. It may cost a little more money, but I know I'm supporting my local community where Miller Lite doesn't do shit for me.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So I'm a very big person of supporting local arts, local business, small town business, small like that's a huge thing I do on this podcast. I go and I interview those businesses, and I interview people of music and arts, and and people who have stories to tell. That's pretty much the whole premise of this podcast.
That brings me back to the point that I almost forgot about. Is what I wanted to tell you, man. I feel like at the points where you're not getting the feedback or the viewership that you want to be getting, or whatever your business or your idea is doing, so you're not getting it where you want to be. I feel like that's going to separate the successful from the unsuccessful, how you react in those moments.
Yeah.
Do you keep pushing? Do you stay true to yourself and keep grinding regardless? Or do you say, okay, I'm just going to give up because it's not working out right now?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's something I wanted to talk about on this conversation to make sure we get out there to whoever's listening, because I don't know. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Well, where I kind of sit mentally is I am at a point where it's like, man, I wish I had a little more feedback. Even if someone would just, when they listen, just be like, hey man, I subscribed, or hey man, I hit that like button, or hey, I liked the show. I thought it was a good conversation. Or if they're like, hey, I thought it sucked and you're terrible at what you do. Any feedback is good. But
what's your goal though? What's your goal? What, for anyone listening right now that doesn't know this, answer this question like me. What is your goal and final impact? Say you pass away in 20 years. What do you want them to remember from you in regards to this venture in particular with the podcast?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know when it comes to a goal mindset. Just to kind of finish what I was saying real quick, because it kind of ties into that, is where I think what keeps me going and keeps me motivated and positive is when someone does come on the show. Not a lot of times they'll be like, yo man, ever since I was on it, I had an upbeat of subscribers, or I had some people actually check my product out. So where maybe I'm not getting the feedback on my end, when someone does come on, they do see a increase on their end. So that's kind of what my goal it is. And then what I've been really fortunate with is when I say, hey, you should go to this place and go buy beer because this is where we got it and it's really good and you should try it. The business will turn around and say, yo man, people actually came in that listened and they bought beer. Or when I did my Toys for Tot benefit, it turned out really, really well, and people are like, you know what I mean? So what I'm doing is it is getting back to what I'm eventually,
bro.
The focus is definitely getting where I need it to go. So in that aspect, I do stay calm, and I do say, you know what, I might not be getting it on my end, but where I'm putting my focus, that's where it is going. Right. So I am positive about that.
We'll keep, man, you got to keep that in mind at all times then.
Yeah.
Because, regardless what the numbers are saying, if you pointed one or two customers or had one listener that, went to one of these businesses or suggestions you're making, then that's impact. That's the definition of impact. So.
I'm very fortunate, man. Like I said, I do 5 different shows. I just started my 5th one last week, so it's on episode number 2. But so far with the other shows I've done stuff that I never thought I'd ever experience. Like I've set up this podcast and done it in some insane venues. Like I set up in HMAC 3 times. I set up in a local arts theater in Pottsville. I've set up in people's houses. Like I've experienced a lot of really, really cool things. I've ran my own music festival. I did a Toys for Tot benefit. I'm getting invited to wrestling shows to meet people and do interviews. That's awesome. And I'm getting invited to breweries where I've set up my podcast inside of a brewery and talk to people. Like, so I'm very fortunate of some of the people I met, and that's pretty much, I guess if you say that's my goal, I really enjoy meeting people I don't know and having genuine conversations with them. So every single time I hit record, I am hitting my goals. If I become rich, if fame and fortune and everything comes with it, then cool. But that's not my target. My target is just to keep, just to keep talking to people and spreading conversation and letting people know that they can resolve things by just talking to one another and finding out that we're all same. You know what I mean? We might have different views, but we all boil down to the same thing.
It sounds like me, you get satisfaction off of impacting others
Yeah.
somehow, some way. So
Yeah,
man, that's
first time I did that
that's
Toys for
awesome,
Todd
bro.
thing, I didn't realize how much of an impact you can make just doing something so small. And dude, I left that facility after we dropped off the boxes of toys and dropped off a bunch of money. Yo, I cried. I bawled my eyes out. I was like, "Holy crap!" Like to see what like how much help is needed in your local community, and a lot of people don't even realize the impact. It's very powerful.
Right. You could take 10, 20 minutes and do something that's so impactful to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I do that. I do that all the time. Sometimes we'll just decide and go buy 10 pizzas from Little Caesars. Shout to Little Caesars. They always hook Blessed and Appreciative up with a good deal for 10 pizzas because they know we're taking them to the homeless. And we'll do that multiple times throughout the year.
Yeah.
And every time I do that, it feels good. Like, it feels good to know you fed somebody that wasn't expecting that meal to come from your direction that night.
Yeah.
Like, just stuff like that throughout life. You can think of a million ways to do something little that might impact somebody else's life more than you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the riches of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the feelings that you get from that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man, this is an awesome convo. I appreciate you taking the time and even want to have me on your channel, bro.
No, man, I don't want to sound like a creep or a stalker, but I definitely follow what you do, and ever since I met you, and I've just been very impressed and very I like what you're doing, man. Like I said, I like your circle. I like the people around you. I know you, I guess, a little more personally than normal because we had some good conversations, but like, I just think everything you're doing, man, is you're doing it the right way. I respect your hustle, your grind, and I also respect your give back, how you said with the charity and stuff. And it just seemed like you have all real good people around you.
Well, as far as the people around me part, I'm blessed to have a couple of great people, but sadly, the past couple of years, behind the scenes, I've lost a couple of close people to me. Just, you know how life goes. You see certain colors. You see certain colors of people when certain situations happen that you didn't know existed in them.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of separate and go your own way. But I definitely appreciate you noticing the good people and the good, positive circle of folks that I do have around me constantly, and I'm appreciative of them too.
I feel like real people, you kind of get the same thing that where people want to be attached to you because of your positivity, and I think you put out that aura and that light, and people are like, you know what, I want to surround myself with that. You know what I mean? I think there's not many people in the world like that, and I think you definitely are one of those people.
Damn, that means a lot, man. You're gonna make me get emotional over here.
No, I think you carry yourself very well, man. Not many people are gonna go out of their way to go deliver pizzas to the homeless. Not many people are gonna use their craft for the good, man. Like I said, like your family structure, you and your girl. I just feel like you have a lot of really good things going for yourself, and just keep grinding and keep doing what you're doing, man. The sky's the limit for you.
Thank you, man. Same to you, Anth. I appreciate it, and yeah, I feel like we could keep talking for hours, but we could always do it again. 100%. I would love to.
Once this blows over, we gotta
beers.
Nice.
I want to get on that banging beers one, and we could bang some beers and have some fun and talk on there. And thanks to anybody that happens to listen to this. They can find all my work at Vito Depierro on all platforms, and type in "Blessed and Appreciative" if you want to find out about how we give back to the community.
Yeah. Once this all blows over, man, we'll get together. We'll hang out. I'll come see a show. And we'll do some good stuff.
Yeah, I hope I can get some dates. I had 3 dates we would have had. We did a Chameleon Club again, and a couple nights at this place called Shady's in Harrisburg. But as everybody else is going through the loss of income due to not being able to have events, I am too.
Yeah.
What about you as far as work-wise with that? Are you working right now
I was laid off for a couple weeks. I actually go back to work tomorrow. I go back. I'm gonna work from home for the time being. My hours change up a little bit, which kind of sucks, and I lose my weekends. So the last couple of weeks, I'm really fortunate that I was grinding away. So what I've been doing is I've been building up a big backlog of episodes. So in case, I don't know why, maybe it was just intuition, but I always try to record a bunch now, so I always have something to put out on a Monday. So you're actually episode 76. I'm releasing episode 63 on Monday. So you're a little bit down the pipeline. But I was able to get all this in. So now I'm going back to work. I can kind of take that time to reassess myself, change my work hours up a little bit, and focus on that, and not have one less thing to kind of do, because I have a pretty big backlog of content. So I've been staying busy. One of those things, when people, since this quarantine, you could sit at home and rest, which is fine, or you can keep grinding or learn something new or try to better yourself in some way. So I'm glad I stayed busy.
Yeah, you gotta keep grinding and try to be creative.
Yeah.
My girl got me doing yoga with the YouTubers in the living room.
I actually have a yoga DVD. I'm sure I have to start it up again. I got that DDP yoga.
I appreciate people that can do yoga so much more now, because I cannot do that. My body is not flexible in those ways, and now I realize how strong you got to be to do it. And I used to clown on the yoga, thinking that was just like, for people that wanted to burn incense and do weird stretches.
Yeah, the DDP yoga is crazy, man. The resistance to it is insane. I did it for like 2 weeks.
What are you saying? What's it called? What kind of yoga?
DDP yoga. It's yoga designed by an old professional wrestler. But it like, I'll send you a video of what the video I watched that like made me go buy it. Like, there's this guy who was a parachuter for the military, and just from doing jumps and jumps and jumps, he pretty much destroyed his ankles, destroyed his knees, destroyed his back, to the point where like they're like, you'll never walk unassisted again your entire life.
Hold on, you're talking about Diamond Dallas Page?
Yes, DDP yoga.
Well, I was thinking about DDP over here. I'm like, hold on, I used to watch WWF.
His yoga is insane, man. I did it for I kind of got caught up with the podcast and I stopped doing it, but I did it for like a week. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I never thought I would feel it like that. Like, just kind of growing up being an athlete and playing basketball and football and soccer. I'm like, there's no yoga in the world that's going to make me feel like I did a workout. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, I was too. And my girl is showing me that these past couple of weeks during quarantine. And just on a complete from the side note, wrestlers and rappers are a lot alike. You said that like when we first started talking.
Yeah. And
there's so many similarities between the two.
Because a lot of rappers try to portray themselves as real, and that's cool. But there are rappers who are a gimmick, even though they don't realize they are.
Yeah.
And some people play the heel, some people play the good guy. You know what I mean? It's just, And
it's like I'm Doug. I'm Doug Rowell Jr. That's me. That's my government name.
Yeah.
And Vito Depierro is who I am as an artist. And I'm still trying to like draw the line, or is there two of me? Is this the same person just saying a different name when he was in a different situation? I'm still questioning that to this day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know I'm both of them. I know that. But I don't know like the.
Well, listen, man, I don't want to keep you super long, but I do really appreciate the conversation.
Good, I appreciate it too.
Send me over all your links, and we'll put them in the comments below so people can go and follow you. And we'll end with the same way we came in. We'll do a little bit of your song, "Bring the Best Out," which I think you do. I think you bring the best out of yourself, and I think you bring the best out of others. So definitely keep doing what you're doing. And I appreciate the time. And once this all blows over, man, we got to hang out.
Yes, sir. Anytime you're around Harrisburg area, let me know, and we'll definitely have a brew or two somewhere and chop it up.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, Ann. Thank you.
That'll do it for Interviews with Everyday People. We'll see you guys next time, and we're out. Here's some Vito.
And they invest now. Nah, home, I'm rocking with who believed in me. We ain't gotta flip, we could make hits legally. Ask me how I got to this point, I'm earning it. If it ain't about making progress, I ain't concerned with it. I got Florenza in my heart flowing through my veins. If she wasn't present, I would probably go insane. You're gonna bring the best out. Sometimes it takes the worst to bring the best out. You're gonna bring the best out. You're gonna bring the best up out of me. You're gonna bring the best out. Sometimes it takes the worst to bring the best out. You're gonna bring the best out. You're gonna bring the best up out.